Come on. Hey, come on. Hi, I'm Miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. So today, let me begin by tell you a little bit about what I have planned for the Q&A. Last week, I got your permission to wander off a little bit about subjects outside of bonsai per se, but some connection with bonsai if I can. This is my plan for the Q&A. In the future, there will be a brief commentary. For example, timely subject as a maintenance reminder of this time of the season. And then also one or two idioms, sort of wisdom of the week that I pick up that I really like to share with you, and then add my commentary. But occasionally I will add a commentary piece. For example, experiments on pine, like air layering and cutting, which is not generally well known. So I will experiment and share with you my experience. I think that would be beneficial. Then I would also, with your encouragement, add opinion and sharing with you my experience. So example, I would briefly describe my history to provide a context of what shaped me, my philosophy that could be of interest. It's just really to provide a context. It's not so much to brag or make a point. And then the best practices like health. You know, I'm 83 years old. I think most people think I'm in my 60s. And I think I have a few health tips that I think you'll be interested in. But my learning experience, how I came from Hong Kong knowing nothing about anything and get to know what I know today. And about children, and I think that's one area of interest, I think, to most of us. And business and management, I have built successful business, took two companies public. And so I think I have a lot of, and investing in a lot of startup companies that are successful. So I think I have some experience to share that some of you may find interesting. But I'll try not to wander off too frequently and try to stay within the subject and make a link to the bonsai if I can. So I will do these topics occasionally, and I won't overdo it. I hope you'll find them useful. And I think the whole idea of the video is to be useful. And these subjects will actually broaden my audience, which is also good for the bonsai hobby and good for my business. So I think it's all connected together. So with that in mind, then let me address today's Q&A. By the way, if you like my video, please click like. That gives me encouragement and brownie points, and give me feedback on what you'd like to hear about and how I can improve. And please subscribe to our channel so that we can notify you of a future video or interesting topics. And of course, please sign up for our mailing list, for example, for announcement of our availability of trees for sale. With that in mind, then let me just go on to today's Q&A. One of the question was about my little dogs, and the person who wrote me thought it's a Chihuahua, long-haired Chihuahua. No, it's a Pomeranian. So I have two dogs. I will show you. Hi, this is my Bonbon, Bonsai, or white ball Bonbon, and he's a Pomeranian, about I would say 8 months old. He's about 7 pounds. I think that's the maximum weight he's going to be. He looks big, but it's all fluffy, and I don't have to comb him much. The fur does not kink at all. He's fun. He's very energetic, very smart, not much work. Both dogs are very well behaved. When I whistle, they come. And so the other one that you're looking at is actually a Shih Tzu. In Chinese means little lion, and he's about 3 years old, and they play very well. They growl at each other, but they're actually good friends. What do you mean by you can make no mistakes? Well, you know, I think of once you know about the habits of a tree, you really can make no mistakes. What I do is I take a tree, I study the line or the shape of the tree I wanted to become, and I just cut off the redundant branches. And then what happens is after you cut it off, branches will shoot out everywhere, and then nature will take over from that point on. So for example, if the sun comes from certain direction, the tree will grow towards that direction to seek light and get energy. And so it will grow wildly, and then you can cut it back again, and it will grow out again. So if you made a mistake, cut off a wrong branch, it doesn't matter. It will come back out for you to have more choices to make new design objectives. But I always think it's a good idea to begin with the end in mind, as Covey says. By having a vision what the tree wants to be, then you start cut it, you will gradually work towards the goal, and I think that's the way to create your vision, your heirloom for that matter. The next one is about, I understand you share with you your standard mix, but would that mix work for succulents? Well, I think there are a lot of words of wisdom people share that are really partial truth. So for example, one of the comments is that succulent likes to be dry, kept dry. I definitely think they need aeration for their roots. So I think if you have any worry about my mix in the sense of the quality of your topsoil, then I would say add some sand, coarse sand, to increase the aeration for your succulent. Aside from that, I think my mix should work fine. In fact, I should say in recent years, succulent has become very popular, in part because they bloom quite often. And so I bought a pack of 6 from Costco, and I just planted in my regular soil mix and water it every day with my bonsai. And you know what? They grew like crazy. They just really took off. And so they actually love fertilizers and water. They just can tolerate drought because they store water in the leaves and in the trunk. On the other hand, they really do love waters. That's why I advocate water your bonsai frequently. You will never overwater them. And the next question is that, what do you use when you grow your trees in nursery pots? Well, that means for growing. Well, I actually use any old junk. The soil dug out from my garden, the top is good, but the bottom is really subsoil. Could be quite gummy and very clayey, but I use them anyway by adding compost. I get redwood chips for free, and I mix that, and as well leaf mold from my trees dropping. And they work just fine. And the reason is that bonsai pots are shallow, so you have to be very cautious in using every bit of it that's perfect for the tree. Whereas in the nursery pots, there's a lot of soil. So if you are not quite right, it's quite fine. It's very forgiving. Trees can accommodate a wide range of situations. So the other question, I wasn't sure exactly what it meant, just like I'm growing trees in the ground. In fact, my maple tree is growing like crazy. I cut it and they grow out. And when I shape it, do I cut off the new branch or the old branch? Well, both. It really doesn't matter. They grow out very quickly. But in general, what I will do is I'll clip it or cut it drastically and let it grow back for 2 or 3 months so the branches can get longer, and that feeds the tree, the trunk, and that will keep the tree healthy, and then clip it to shape. So it's a compromise. If I ever leave the wire on my tree, would it ever grow over the wire? Well, depends on some of the tree in the sense of like elm trees and all that. They grow very vigorous. In fact, it will cover it. It will just grow over it. But you will probably still see the irregularity of the curvature of the wiring. But I wouldn't do it. I don't know why you want to do it. In fact, in Japan, I think they actually will pound the tree and to kind of damage the bark, and that will thicken the bark quicker to make the tree look older. I don't know. I think it's all these tricks works, but it's probably not worth the effort. Just let it be. Can a gingko tree hard to maintain? Can I make it into bonsai? Gingko tree, the leaves are really, really beautiful. It's a little bit like a baby tear kind of a fern tree. And they're very hardy. I have to tell you, I was in, I think it's Outer Mongolia, just out next door to Xinjiang. And there were these gigantic, I would say, 6 foot across gingko fossil that fall on the ground. And enormous tree. That's a very ancient tree, so it's a very hardy tree. They're quite easy to do cutting from, and they can do suckers. They sucker a lot, but they really are beautiful tree. Now they do have one drawback to make into a bonsai. They tend not to ramify very quickly. That means they don't grow branches very quickly or very much. So you tend to have a very skinny, lanky tree or a tall tree with a few branches, but it's really hard to make them to grow. There's a variety called kiki. In Japanese means breast, like women's breast, and it's a hanging lumps along the tree. Those are highly valued for bonsai. And those, I think they tend to branch a little bit better. And I actually have the trees. Someday I'll propagate them and make them available to you. Let's see, very intrigued about your creating bonsai from garden trees. Do you think I should clip them? Basically, the question is, how should I train them? Well, I think what you should do is train them, let them grow in the ground as much as you can. Suppose you have a long trunk, you cut it back, it will send out side branches and send out side shoots, and you can choose those to carry it to the next apex to in fact get little turns as you like it. And this way they grow very quickly because the roots are established in the ground so that it would fatten the tree very quickly and make the lower branches grow out wide so that the lower branch would be thicker, which is perfect for bonsai. And each time you clip it, you create a taper. And so I think put it in the ground is definitely the best. And then a year before you want to put it in your bonsai pot, dig around it a bit at a month, a fraction of it each month, until winter time you can dig it all up. This way your fibrous roots to go into a bonsai pot right away. Enjoy your tutorial. Have I been to the Lake Merritt Bonsai Garden in Oakland? Yes, I have. It's one of my favorite bonsai museum. It's in Lake Merritt in Oakland. The trees are excellent. That's probably represents the best in California. Really, the Huntington and the Lake Merritt has the best collection of California bonsai output. And so be sure to visit it. I think it's actually free. You make a donation if you wish. They also have an annual so-called the Mammoth Auction, which is quite well attended. I would say 150 people attend, and they sell trees for about a couple hours of trees, about 150 trees. And I got them some really old material from that. So please go visit the Lake Merritt and join the Mammoth Auction in October. With that in mind, then, I thank you very much for watching. And please click like as my reward, and to subscribe to our channel so that we can notify you any seasonal events or any good video coming up. And also go to our website to sign up for our mailing list so that we can notify you of trees for sale. So with that in mind, then, thank you very much for watching, and see you next week.